game, the first time we've ever covered Webb on a broadcast this season. And it's really odd that we haven't covered Webb because they've stayed completely undefeated this season, looking to keep that streak going, especially against their next 2 games against Franklin Christian Academy and St. Andrews Swanee in the final week of the season. Meanwhile, for the Heat, as we looked at it, James will explain in a little bit, they are not eligible for the postseason at this point. They unfortunately have lost their games. They are mathematically eliminated. They still have a bowl slot, but they're still looking to fight for their lives here. And James, you had those predictions back on Extreme Radio, and obviously we missed one thing because of the Sacred Heart game against Bowling Green. The Heat are not eligible for the postseason at this point, but it's still a team that wants to get a win on homecoming and still a team that wants to finish strong and potentially get that bowl slot. So what's the path to victory for them at homecoming?
Well, here's the thing about the Heat is we were actually reminded of this, is that with a Lighthouse Christian loss to St. Andrew, or to either South Haven Christian or Christian Community, they would actually be 3-2, and so like if they beat South Haven and lose to Christian Community, so they would be 3-2. Sacred Heart would be 3-2 with a win over Bowling Green, and then of course the Heat are 3-2. So it'd be a 3-way tie. They'd have to have a coin toss for second place. So we were reminded of that, and I mentioned on Extreme Talk, and I got it wrong earlier, but definitely an interesting situation in terms of the postseason seeding. Webb's a lot more solidified.
Yeah, South a little bit more solidified. But like I asked, with the Tennessee Heat, even though they're not postseason eligible, it's still a team that wants to finish the year strong. So against a tough squad like the Webb School, what's the path to victory tonight?
It's just sticking with what you've got. You've got a freshman quarterback who's solid, Avante Harris. Shamar Frey has been around for a long time, and he's still going to be around for another year. Emmanuel Anade is your running back, and then on defense, Brandon Azar is your big lineman, and he's got to cause some havoc in that backfield. A backfield that's missing James Redding, who was injured earlier in the year. Still have Preston Sloan, but you've got to rattle that sophomore quarterback, Brandon Goolsby, and you've also got to protect Avante Harris because while all he can make plays, he still is a freshman, so he can still make mistakes.
Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week and National Anthem here in Stadium. The festivities starting here in Mount Juliet. However many times I mispronounce it, that's just how it's going to be.
Withrow hear you.
Now they can hear you, James. What'd you say?
Don't let Chad Withrow hear you say that.
Of course, yeah. He'll never be able to hear us on that. And homecoming as the Tennessee Heat don't have a shot of it, but the Tennessee Heat running their flag through the field on homecoming night. And again, James, we look at how the Webb School they've been so dominant throughout this season. They've just essentially run over almost all of the teams they've played, including their opener on the road against the defending MTAC champions, who now still have not gotten a win, as well as other teams in the South have rolled over them. So for the Webb School, a one-loss season is not an option they want to take.
No, and really, you know, I was critical of Webb the first few games of the year, just with the quality of their wins, beating South Haven, who still has yet to win, beating Classical, who still has to win, who still has yet to win, beating they beat another South team, and I am completely spacing on it. Riverside Christian, thank you very much. I was critical about it, but a big win against Lancaster last week, and they are validated, in my opinion, as the #1 seed.
We are underway here at Mount Juliet Christian Academy. So the Heat will start out on offense. Trying to make sure.
Great kickoff there by senior Spoonie Sizemore, getting the ball deep and a good return.
And 8 seconds off the clock, and we're underway here. So the Heat start on offense on 1st and 10. 29-yard line motion on the play. Ball is a muff snap. It's brought down in the backfield. Big tackle by Bart Morton for 2nd down and a loss.
And yeah, it's tough with with a sophomore quarterback. He's really done well this year. 29 of 60, 440 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It's everything you could ask of a first-year quarterback. But at the same time, you know, you still got to get chemistry between the center and quarterback in order to avoid situations like that.
They move the chains to the home side here for 2nd down and 14. Penalty, and we'll have our first penalty
Looks like
of the
they got
game.
him. Might be either Fouch or Azar.
Encroachment, 5-yard penalty, repeat down.
So an encroachment on the defense. Beat 2nd down. So here's 2nd down and 9. Motion again. Ball snapped, scramble for Goolsby. Deep toss on the right side, overthrown. Incomplete pass. Looked like it was intended. That was Rowan Cordell on the intended pass, 3rd down.
Yeah, trying to take another shot, and decent protection there on the play, just giving him some time to get the ball away. He's got an arm, and he can make the throws. It's just having receivers. He's a good receiver. Boone Russell has made some catches this year. His brother, obviously, who's a senior. So he's got a couple weapons that he could throw to. Obviously, Preston Sloan is a threat as well. So there's different things that he can do, and Ryan Scott's put him in a good position to try to be successful as a first-year quarterback.
Trying to put him in to set him up for success on this 3rd down and 10. Oh, another muffed snap, and it's fallen on. Is it Webb? It's fallen on by Goolsby.
No, he got it. Diaz has to settle down. That's 2 bad snaps in 4 plays. He's got to get on top of that. They typically have not had this issue in this situation. So I don't know if it's the pressure of maybe playing a good team or the Saturday night situation. They've played on Saturday night before. They've played good teams before. So they've just got to settle down. They hung in there with Christian Community the whole first half. If they can do that again, they might have a chance.
They're going to punt it away here.
Reigning Extreme Player of the Week, Micah DeGrood.
DeGrood gets the punt off. Not an all-star punt there as it heads down to about the 40-yard line. They stop it down, and Webb, we will see their offense for the first time on A-Man Extreme.
Give y'all an update real quick. Down in Jackson, Mississippi, you got Tennessee School for the Deaf taking on Mississippi School for the Deaf. Several injuries for the Vikings, and they are down 36-0 at halftime. So they had to take the last 2 weeks off due to their games getting canceled, and the rust is kind of showing, along with the 5-hour road trip down to Jackson.
A lot of teams take long road trips to try and get games in. Webb took about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes to get up here.
About an hour.
About around there. And first offensive play
so
for the game. That's Emmanuel Onade on the left side. Emmanuel Onade on that big run. They stop the clock here to place the ball, and good time to get a replay in here, James.
Looked like DeGrood got on the tackle. Onade's been around for several years, and I know I say that, but he's been around, and he's been in the program, and he's been a solid running back. So obviously with his senior year, he's going to show up and do a lot more. They've got a good 1-2 punch of him and Shamar Frey.
Ball snapped low, and Avante Harris trying to rush it up the middle. Avante Harris to the outside. Avante Harris into the end zone. Touchdown for the Webb School.
He is so dangerous on the ground this year so far. 23 carries, 286 yards, 5 touchdowns. He has made he's a running quarterback who can throw, and just a great play there, making it with his feet.
Avoids the tackle in the center.
It's hard. It would be hard to assume he was a freshman. I'm just saying. The way that he's played so far this year.
And here's their field goal kicker from Webb.
Spoonie Sizemore.
That's Sizemore, number 3. And Weston Coop with the hold, and it's wide.
Sorry about
right.
that, guys.
Incomplete. The extra point is no good. 9:44 left to go in the first. 6-0 lead for Webb in the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Kickoff for Webb. Low line drive. Picked up by the Heat, trying to get the number on that one. Looks like it's Preston Sloan.
Sloan's had 3 kick returns for touchdowns. And who's going to stop him? The only man who can, Shamar Frey.
Shamar Frey with an incredible stop on there. Sloan would have been gone, as you could see on the return here.
Preston Sloan, like I said, 3 kick returns on the year for touchdowns so far. He is so dangerous. Had one against South Haven last week, and he's got speed, he's got moves. Transfer him from right here at MJCA, decided to stay on the field but play for a different team, and he has been one of their biggest leaders overall.
First and 10 on the 39-yard line.
Great field position.
Amazing field position here for the Heat as Webb leads 6-0. Here's a rush on the right. That's Kelton Copeland. Gets to about the 35-yard line, gain of 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, and Copeland, a freshman. And this is the second year in a row they've had so many freshmen step up and make plays. And they've got guys that last year were making things happen. And this year, they're still coming out and making it happen.
So 2nd down and 6 on the 35. Goolsby looking for the pass, left side. Catch made by Kobe Pinder. 1st down and 10 on the 25.
And Pinder's somebody, I didn't even mention him earlier, but he's just another passing threat that Goolsby has. And all Ryan Scott has to do is put his quarterback in a position to be successful by giving him weapons, making it to where he doesn't. Yeah, and the protection on that play, Goolsby knew to step up just a little bit, just to get the throw off, but he knew not to step up too much because the pressure was coming from the inside from Azar.
So 1st and 10, new drive. Goolsby, quick pass over to Sloan. Preston Sloan on the middle, cuts across it. Preston Sloan into the end zone. Touchdown for the Tennessee Heat.
What can you say? What can you say? Preston Sloan. I mean, he's got speed, and I don't know that Webb has faced this level of speed. I don't even think Matt Bowden from Lancaster's got speed. Sorry about this play, guys. I'm running the camera, and I haven't used this camera, but they have not faced this level of speed. They didn't face it with South Haven. They did face it with Riverside with John Trahan, and he scored several touchdowns against them. But they didn't face it with Classical, and they didn't face it last week with Lancaster, other than maybe Matt Bowden. So this is a completely new experience for them.
We have, again, the all-star kicker Micah DeGrew to go for the extra point. We'll see if he could break the tie deficit with Webb through the uprights, and
it's his
perfect.
13th one of the year, 13 of 22 now. That is how, after an opening drive like they had, just completely laying an egg, that is the opening drive that you need to make a statement against an unbeaten Webb.
7-6, the Heat take the lead early over the Webb School.
I want it off.
You know, y'all caught the backside of that conversation with the official trying to figure out the mic. I could have sworn I told him what was on and off. So I do not take the blame for that.
And they stopped the play here.
Looks like we're going to have an offside here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Looks like we're going to have an offside here.
Offsides. We'll see if we can. Let's get the call.
Let's see if he's got.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the kick.
Yeah, I probably should have told you when the lapel mic is on.
You just turned it on, and I'm like,
right,
I just want my 2 seconds of fame.
Hey, it happens. It happens. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Isaiah and I have had times where we have our moments of fame on the PA system. We have that plenty of times here. Not just here at MJCA, but in plenty other places. Picked up at the 41-yard line. Who other than Emmanuel Anade? It's brought down at about the 48-yard line, and Webb starts out with great offensive positioning.
Number 18, Toby Pinder. Number 2 for Webb receiving the ball.
So Avante Harris, a walk-on freshman for the Webb School coming into this year, all the way from Shelbyville.
Yeah, came from Shelbyville's just right next door. Came from Shelbyville Middle School, and I had to ask Coach Murphy where he came from. He said he just came in. This is the first year that Webb has not had a set quarterback. They had Mubarak Yaya a few years ago, Wes Watson, and then Greg Kilpatrick, who'd been there for 5 years last year. So this was the first year that they've had football that they came in and did not have a starting set quarterback. And he said Avante just asked him, hey, can I give it a try? He said, yeah. And we've seen what Avante's done so far this year. Also 10 passing touchdowns.
Avante across the middle. Catch is made by Shamar Frey.
Was that Frey or Fouch?
Looks like it's a 6.
That's
that
is Frey.
And they're going to go hurry up offense on this one.
Frey has 13 catches, 300 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns on the year.
And we got the replay on that catch. We'll get it depending on the result of this quick offensive drive. Looks like Webb is pulling a little bit of a Chip Kelly strategy by going quick off the offensive plays. Harris scrambles, left side, tripped up, gained about a few yards on the play, second down, and let's look at that amazing pass.
And obviously a great pass over the middle. But in terms of this play that just happened, yeah, see, and again, he was able to find his receiver real quick. He was wide open. But on this play that just happened, the Heat were able to shut down the receiving core, make Avante stand in there and try to find a receiver. And by that time, Chris Savely, Elijah Diaz, that Heat defense got in there and was able to make the stop and bring him down and kind of neutralize his feet and the attack that he can bring.
Second down and 9. Harris, man to his right, hands it off. Manuel Anade.
What an open field tackle.
Stopped a gain of a few yards for third down and 5.
Looks like Preston Sloan getting in there.
Sloan managing to get a little bit of that action. Webb on 3rd down and 5.
That'll bring up 3rd and 8.
Of course, we talked to Coach Murphy before the game as well. He didn't seem overconfident about the games going into the next 2 weeks, saying we need to get the job done against FCA and Swanee if they want to keep that #1 playoff slot alive. And James will talk about that in a second. Here's Harris in the backfield, man to his right. Vontae Harris, deep toss on the right side. Shermar Frey, incomplete. Right between his hands, could have had the catch there. Incomplete, and 4th down and 5.
Good coverage, and if Webb, me just being me, I wish Webb would bring Sizemore out, kick the field goal. Let's make this all dramatic. Let's be like
an NFL team or a college team.
Anyways, that outside teams don't do that. They don't. Anyways,
not name-man football.
But great coverage on that. You know what kind of a threat Frey is. You know, and here's the thing, though. They've got Frey, but they also got Niall Archer. So far, we haven't heard a peep from Archer. Archer hasn't done anything in 2 drives. And he might do something on this drive. I might have just jinxed him or given him a blessing. I might have just jinxed the Heat.
Here's Harris again. They're going for it on 4th and 5. He's just going to take the rush out of center. Flag in the backfield. Looks like he may have gotten the 1st down here, but pending the flag.
I think we're going to end up getting a hold. Yeah, Azar is over there saying, what did I do? And I think we're going to have a hold on this, and it will bring it back.
I'm talking to Coach Scott to get the ruling. They believe they do have the option to decline it to turnover on downs, and we'll get the call.
Did he not get
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty. That is declined. 1st down.
He did not get the 1st down. Great job by that Heat defense. They put the pressure on Harris, made him step up, but then they had guys there to stop him and shut it down right there. That Heat defense, a terrible first drive, and it's not hating on the Heat, terrible first drive, but since then it's been Jekyll and Hyde. And it's not a bad drive by the Webb School. Webb hasn't had a bad drive. The Heat have just been able to play up to Webb's level. Now, the question is, the Heat played at CCS's level. They played at Lancaster's level for the first half. Can they play at that level the entire game is the question.
I like that analogy. Heating on the heat. It's like freezing on the freeze.
Heating on the heat? What?
You said heating on the heat.
By the way, we want to thank all you folks for tuning in tonight.
Hey, that's my job to thank them. It's all of our jobs to thank
them. Thank them?
Anyway.
You hog.
Yeah, all of us do. That's correct.
I want to thank them.
It's all of our jobs to thank them.
We're both thankful.
Right.
Wow.
Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week here from Mount Juliet Christian Academy. Proud to be broadcasting here from Ed Suey Field for the Heat and Webb on a Saturday. Most of the college games are over. If you're choosing us over college football, that's awesome. Almost intercepted. Could have been a big interception for Jordan Jenkins. Goes right off his shoulder pad.
As a Tennessee fan, it hurts to say this, but if Tennessee was playing right now, I would choose this game over Tennessee. That hurts.
That's
coming from someone who bleeds orange.
That's coming from someone who bleeds orange. So 3rd down and 5 here for the Heat.
Sorry about that.
So there's a stoppage on the field.
Well, at least y'all didn't miss nothing.
Timeout. Offense.
So timeout for the Tennessee Heat. 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter of the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Brought to you by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Ward Marketing and Advertising.
We goof off during the broadcast. Go.
There's 3rd down and 5 after the timeout motion. Goolsby in the shotgun, toss to the right, overthrown, intended for Carter Sutton. Just not able to get it out. A lot of pressure. 4th down and 5.
Goolsby's got to settle down. He's got to calm down. So far, the Heat, and if you're Ryan Scott, at least right now, you've got to go with what's red hot, and that's Preston Sloan. He's red hot right now. Great kick return, touchdown run, making plays on defense. You got to stick with what it's like hockey when someone gets red hot, or baseball when someone gets red hot. You just ride that streak until it cools off, and then someone else gets hot. Hockey mainly, baseball not so. Baseball too.
You know, you mentioned hockey.
And football.
You mentioned hockey.
And basketball.
You mentioned hockey. Isaiah and I were at. Tell that story in a little bit. 4th down and 5. The Heat is going to punt it away here. This DeGrude again set to punt it away. We'll see if he can get a better one off this time. Gets a good amount of distance on that one. Bounces at the 45.
Webb underestimated it, and they're going to let it drop.
Goes to
Still good field position, though.
Goes to the 42-yard line. Webb back on offense. But as I was saying, last night Isaiah and I were down in Jackson for Sacred Heart and FCS, and they were playing anytime that Sacred Heart scored. They played the hockey bullhorn, like the freight horn they have for Preds games. Anytime there's a score, so I'm thinking you're trying to mix sports here. I mean, it somewhat works.
I love
but
it. They do that for baseball.
Sometimes they do.
Some
it for
baseball parks when they score a home run, I love it.
I don't think First Tennessee Park does
That's
that.
why hockey for me is so much higher than than a lot of sports.
You just don't watch the NFL that much, my man. Even though you got several fantasy leagues.
I got one, and I'm winning.
That's right. You got one that you're winning a
Sorry about
huge
that,
amount.
folks. We're gonna fix that.
You got one you're winning by a huge amount. So here is 1st and 10 for Webb, 42-yard line. Here's Emmanuel Anade finding the openings. 1st down and a little bit more. He pushes through for the 1st down. They stop the clock at the 45-yard line.
I'll give this to the Heat. They have a pack mentality. There are a lot of small guys. They've got some good-sized dudes, but they've got a lot of small guys. And Onade just making the plays that he needs to make, making good cuts. But the Heat, you watch how many guys are at the ball within 3 seconds of the first contact. There's the hit, bam, got him. Yeah, here's well, we're gonna have to play.
Got to get to this one here as it's 1st down and 10 on the 45-yard line in Heat territory. Anade gets the ball again, rushing up the middle, stops down to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, hit that replay one more time, Spencer, because if you watch, here's Onade. All right, okay, broken tackle there, contact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, there's only 3 guys that didn't get involved in that tackle. That's what you have to do against an unbeaten team like this, is you can't just make it a one-on-one island situation. As soon as that ball gets handed off, you got to swarm to that ball no matter where you're at on the field.
Here's 2nd down and 5. And Harris in the backfield, man to his left. Audible called by Coach Murphy. Pass up the middle. That's to Henry Moore. It's to about the 25-yard line, just outside the red zone. And a nice pass on the replay here.
Yeah, and obviously that audible was a good call to get that pass over the middle. The Heat, that middle, they're giving up throws there. They've got to get somebody in that middle, even if it's just to spy on the quarterback, but you got to get somebody in the middle there. But the Heat are doing a good job of going with that spread formation, and they move you out. Now, it's a little more bunched here, so they can leave somebody in the middle, but you have to leave somebody in the middle, even if you've got to go 3-on-3 with your line.
Harris, toss on the right. It's again Henry Moore. Cuts, spin tackle, staying on his feet to the 19-yard line inside the red zone. Henry Moore, one of the 6 seniors leading the Webb School this season.
They've got a lot of seniors coming back from last year. They've got several that just decided to play this year. And
make that 9 seniors.
I was
actually.
About to say,
just
6 sounded a little off.
They got a good amount of guys who are wanting
education.
it more than anything. I'm going by what one of the Webb staff told us before game, man. Hand it off, ball dead.
Or what they put on Max Preps.
Got a penalty on the play.
False start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That just brings it back 5 yards for Webb, taken just outside the red zone again.
23? You sure that's on me?
That'll bring up 2nd and 8 for Webb.
What are you talking about with 23?
Someone down there saying that.
Some talking about 23.
23-yard line.
2nd and 9 on the 20. 3-yard line for Webb. Ball snapped. Avante Harris across the middle. Catch Shamar Frey staying on his feet. End zone touchdown.
There's the top of the press box, y'all.
Get a nice view of the top of the press box, and we'll get a nice view of this
You're
replay
welcome.
right here.
Yeah, I said it. The Heat, they bring that pressure, and Coach Jeff Murphy is so good about getting that slot guy on a little, just get him inside, get him up the middle, and bam, they hit it. Just you got to bring pressure, but sometimes you got to pull that pressure off. You got to make sure that you're not giving up those soft throws inside, especially down at the 20-25-yard line with a threat like Shamar Frey in the slot, whatever it's called. You know what I mean.
Viewers probably know what you mean, or some of them
Going for
don't.
the 2 here.
2-point conversion attempt to try and make it back to 14. Harris up the middle, in. 2-point conversion good. 14-7 the score with 2:49 left to go in the first quarter. Webb takes the lead over the Tennessee Heat. Kickoff. That was Shamar Frey who kicked it off out of bounds. They're going to place it at the 40-yard line.
Ball goes out of bounds.
They'll place it at the 40-yard line.
All right, let's see how the Heat decide to answer. Last time Webb scored, the Heat came out 3 play. If you include the kickoff return, 3 plays, touchdown. Let's see if they can do that again in front of I mean, this is the crowd. Great crowd out here.
A large amount of people
let's
here
see what
for
they can do it.
homecoming night especially.
Hoko.
They place it on the 35-yard line. That's the high school rule, thinking NFL rules. 1st and 10 for Webb. Goolsby toss on the right side. Intercepted! Interception by Jordan Jenkins. Spins out to the 28-yard line, and Webb gets the ball.
Had a man open, and he was trying to find him, and Jenkins just steps in front of it.
That'll bring up 1st and 10 Webb.
Yeah, and Goolsby had a man, tried to make the throw and just underthrew him. And Jenkins was just sitting on it. He turned around, was able to find the ball and get the pick. That's a quick momentum turn right here. They punch it in, and it could be hurtful in the first quarter. But a big stop here could get your team even more psyched up.
Jordan Jenkins, a sophomore, getting that interception, has 2 more years of football. Shamar Frey in motion. He's going to take the ball up the middle, left side, avoiding tackles. Uses the defense to his advantage. Touchdown, Webb.
4th rushing touchdown of the year, and he's making plays. Yeah, just in motion, got the sweep. Look at Azar on the block there on the corner. Pushes him, he clears that corner and opens that hole up, and the Lee and the other lineman did a good job making that hole, and Frey's able to slide up the middle. Looks like they're going to go for another 2-point here.
They may just, I guess they are going to go for the 2-point conversion.
Something might be up with Sizemore because he didn't kick off, and now he's not kicking the extra point.
The 2-point conversion attempt. Harris going to look for the pass.
Up the middle.
Easy. Henry Moore gets it. 22-7. 2:28 left to go in the first quarter. The Feet take the lead to 22-7. Shamar Frey kicking off, and you're right. There must be something wrong with Spoonie Sizemore.
Nothing wrong with Shamar Frey's kicks, though.
They kick it off. And that's Recepted. Trying to get the number here. Is he going to be?
Might be Goolsby.
Is that Goolsby? It's a nice kickoff return.
That's Goolsby.
That's the one and only Justin Goolsby.
Goolsby on the year, 9 returns, 165 yards, and he does have a touchdown under his belt. So,
and that's the kind of return his stats are showing.
Yeah, and really, I think it hurts to have Frey kicking off because he can't be a gunner and get down there and make the tackle. On the flip side, though, that's 2 great kick returns for the Heat. If you're Webb, you gotta work on your kick returns a little bit because you're just giving up 2 big chunk returns.
The Heat on the 46-yard line in Webb territory. Motion. It's a handoff. That's Kobe Pinder. Kobe Pinder up the middle. Gets all the way to the 26-yard line.
They're giving it up. The Heat can hang with them. But on defense, if they didn't make the mistake of not having guys up the middle, this would be a completely different ball game. The Heat might have scored by now. Great run there by Pinder. Again, someone who really wasn't around last year, just somebody who decided to play football this year, and now he's contributing.
It's already getting off to a great start in his sophomore year. So here's motion on the play.
It's Pinder again.
It's Pinder. Makes the handoff up the middle.
Goolsby keeps it.
Rush of about 3 yards on the play for second down. Make that 4 yards for second down and 6.
Yeah, they went with the setup play. They went with the motion, and then they decided to keep it on the quarterback keeper. Don't be surprised if you see a throw or a handoff out of this one right here. They're either going to give it to the halfback beside of Goolsby, or Goolsby will look for one of his guys out wide, maybe someone like DeGrude. Well, DeGrude's on the sideline, so he can't really throw. I guess he could throw it to him. It just wouldn't gain him any yards.
At some point, we got to get a shot of the Heat and how they call their plays as Goolsby scrambles. He's under pressure. Toss up.
Oh,
incomplete pass intended for Rowan Cordell. Just lobbed up incomplete.
Trying to
for
get that
down.
screen pass. And honestly, they're about 50-50 on their screen passes all year. And if they work, they're great. And if not, and see, they have a whole different package they bring in for that. So yeah, I mean, but their play calling system, it's the old Seth Witherington play calling system. Except he had like a stick with cards that he flipped. Hopefully the Webb doesn't pull like a New England Patriots and start stealing signals.
Oh, that was many years ago when that happened. Here's 3rd down and 5. Tossed by Goolsby on the right side, incomplete. Great coverage there by Webb. That looks like it's Weston Coop, the freshman, making that coverage. 4th down.
And Goolsby, again, he can make the throws. He's got the distance to make the throws, but he has to be accurate, and he hasn't been accurate tonight so far. And that's something they've got to adjust. Their run game, they're gashing Webb. If you're the Heat, you've got to just keep going. And they got Sloan coming back in. They could be doing something to him with him on 4th and 6, 4th and 5. You've got to convert this. If you don't convert this and Webb scores, it's harder to come back. Your chances of coming back go down so much because you're already down 28-7 or 30-7 in the first quarter, or potentially early in the second.
Or 29-7 if they decide.
Or 29 if they go to the extra point, but something's up with Sizemore, obviously.
Well, yeah, unless Sizemore can get back in. Here's Goolsby, pitch on the right side, incomplete. Slipped on the turf there, incomplete.
They would have had the first down and possibly a touchdown if they could have. Sorry about blowing your eardrums out there, but just a great play call. You can't be mad about the play call.
It was a nice idea for a play call. He could have been gone if he had caught that pass.
You can't be mad about the play call. You can't be mad at any Heat player on that. And if you're Goolsby, obviously you're a sophomore, you're frustrated, but you got to keep a cool head. Nothing's the matter. You're playing a good team. You've just got to settle down a little bit. And there's nothing wrong. Every young quarterback is going to have his issues. At some point, Harris is going to have his issues. He just hasn't gotten to that point yet.
Harris, shotgun. He's got pressure, scrambles. He's just going to take the rush. Avante Harris on the right side gets to about the 30-yard line, staying on his feet with a big collision. Gets down to the 29-yard line on his feet, just short of the first down for 2nd down and 2.
Again, that pack mentality that even when he bounced off the tackle and spun around, as soon as he spun around right here, he's free. He gets hit and spins out, and bam, they're all right there. But if you're the Heat, you got to stop going for the highlight hit. The highlight hit comes when you're doing what you're supposed to do, not just come up and shoulder pad hit him.
It's 15 seconds in the first quarter. Harris gets the snap off, hands it off. That's Emmanuel Anade. Left side, Emmanuel Anade gets down to the 46-yard line. First down.
Big run by the senior. He's making his presence known tonight, and they're relying pretty heavily on him, which if they're going to continue having a strong run in the season and a good season and run in the playoffs, they're going to have him being solid.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. 22-7 the score at the end of the first. The Feet lead over the Heat in the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, brought to you by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Ward Marketing and Advertising.
We have Webb School spotted at the Webb 44-yard line.
Second quarter. It's about to be underway at the Tennessee Heat's homecoming game. Spencer Thompson, James Shannon on call here from Mount Juliet.
Mount Juliet.
Mount Juliet.
Mount Juliet. Okay, we're going to get it right.
Mount Juliet.
Chad, if you're watching, I apologize.
If Chad's watching, that's fantastic. Everyone knows who Chad is. Right side pass. Niall Archer steps out of bounds.
Okay. Archer making a little noise, getting a little throw in there, getting warmed up a little bit.
And Niles Archer, again, one of the 9 seniors leading the team. This almost looks as if it's like, I want to make this comparison, but I can understand how it makes me look like a homer. Well, here, I'll make this comparison. It looks kind of like Christian Community and South Haven last year. Both of them stacked with seniors. Both of them guys for a long time chasing for a championship and trying to go for a playoff run. Looks like this. They've got a bunch of senior leaders as Harris brought down finally. Takes almost the entire team to bring him down, but sacked in the backfield for 3rd down and 8.
Well, again, 6 guys in on the tackle, and you got your corner, your guys outside just in case something crazy happens so everyone's not sucked in. But 6 guys on the tackle, pack mentality, get to the ball and swarm it. And that's what all the good teams do. You watch, I'm not going to say the A word, but you watch, I'm not going to say the G word either. You watch like
I don't want to say the AU word either.
Any good team.
I don't want to say the C word either. Just any good team in the SEC that doesn't bleed orange.
We're talking about Alabama and Georgia, by the way.
Yep.
In case.
3rd down and 8. Deep pass on the left side, overthrown. Incomplete. Just a little bit of a misunderstanding there with the play calling for 4th down and 8. But like I was saying earlier, it reminds you a little bit of South Haven and CCS last year. They had a good amount of seniors who were hungry for a championship, looking for a chance to win it all. And so they you know, South Haven, obviously, we know what happened with that scenario. We know what happened with CCS's scenario going to the Nationals. But it shows how much a good group of senior leaders could change the entire mentality of a football team.
Well, South Haven had a few seniors and Xavier Vincent. CCS with 9 seniors last year, and it just showed they had guys at almost, I mean, you got 16 positions on the field, and you got 9 seniors over over half of your positions on the field are led by guys who have experience. This is what they did not need to do.
And Avante Harris, right side, tripped up at the 40-yard line.
They desperately need a middle linebacker right now.
Number 32, Rowan Cordell. That is the first down
And
for Webb.
you can see on this replay what happens when you don't have a middle linebacker.
And Harris just busting the play. Everyone's covered. Great protection by Webb, just to give him time to look. And you know what? He decided there was no one open. CCS this year with 2, 3, 4, 5 seniors.
So they've got a good amount of seniors. Not as many as last year.
Not as many as last year.
They've got a good leadership.
Lancaster with several seniors as well.
Again, it amazes you what seniors can do. Pitch in the backfield, immediately stuffed.
That's Preston Sloan right there.
Sloan getting it.
Sloan, 43 tackles. He's second on the team in tackles, second to Micah DeGrude, but they just busted through that line.
Second and 14.
They didn't even bring that much pressure, just a blown assignment. 54 is just standing there. Blown assignment. Big play for the Heat to set Webb back. I mean, you want to stay ahead of the chains, and Webb right now is behind. Now Harris can make it up, but we'll have to see if he can.
Second down and 14. Movement. It looks like it could have been a false start there, but Harris pitches it back to Emmanuel Anade. Emmanuel Anade trying to spin out to, gets to about the 37-yard line for second down and 8.
Play had a lot of potential, but Heat able to swarm all over it. And it's third and 8. Now, obviously, the play getting to fourth down, this drive getting to fourth down means nothing because Webb is going to go for it. So they're a 4-down team. So if you're Webb, you can't just have the mentality of stop him here on this third down and it's over. You've got to go all 4 downs.
Especially that mentality in 8-man football is if you're usually past the 45 or closer to the end zone, you always go for it.
You're going to go for it, yeah.
So here's third down and 8. Harris muffs the snap, stays on his feet. DeGrude couldn't get him. Harris can't quite turn the third down conversion into a first down.
DeGrude so close, just had his hand on there trying to make that shoestring tackle. That would have been a fantastic play if DeGrude could have made that tackle.
Just right
Actually,
there.
technically, it would have been a sack. It just barely missed him. Harris able to get his feet up. That whole the square ropes that are elevated. That whole drill came into effect right there. Just get your feet up, make a move, and then he's able to get close to the first down. It's about 4th and 2 right now. 4th and 1, somewhere in there.
So Webb, of course, will go for it on the 31-yard line.
Backfield.
And time called.
And
Guess we don't get a call from the official, so timeout called by Webb. 8:14 left to go in the second quarter. Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week brought to you by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Tennessee High School Football.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Word Marketing and Advertising. .8:14 left to go in the second. 4th and 2 for Webb. Harris, shotgun, toss, right side, catch. Shamar Frey! End zone, touchdown!
Frey busts it open again.
With number 6 on the reception and a touchdown.
And he hasn't been able to come to the All-Star game the last 2 years due to different situations, grades and stuff. But and I think he plays basketball. But, yeah, just he's got so much speed, so much talent, and a big 4th down conversion there. If you're the Heat, you cannot get have a losing mentality right now. You're down, but you have played it. The score does not reflect how the Heat have played against Webb. There's been bad throws and bad decisions, but that's not reflect. On this drive, they didn't throw the ball up the middle any. It was all outside stuff, and the Heat could have stopped that, Webb is just a little more talented.
2-point conversion attempt. So again, the Spoonie Sizemore, still something going on with him as Harris toss on the right side. Catch made.
What a catch.
Brilliant catch by Jordan Jenkins to get 2.
Hit in the air, midair, as he's trying to catch it.
30-7, the Webb School taking the lead over the Tennessee Heat on homecoming. 8:03 left to go in the second. Kickoff here. Deep reception by Tennessee Heat. That's Justin Goolsby staying on his feet down to the 25-yard line. The Heat back on offense.
And again, still not terrible bad field, not terrible field position. It's not the greatest though, so you're going to have to dig yourself out of a hole a little bit. Goolsby came off the field after this last drive, very frustrated, and you know, he's just got to realize when you play good teams, and this is your first year starting at quarterback, it's a whole new experience. But the bright spot for the Heat, he's playing well this year. He is playing very well, and he's only going to get better, and that gives you hope for the next couple seasons.
Preston Sloan just had a few words exchanged with head referee a few moments ago.
Yeah,
he walked off of the field.
Sloan's a little bit of a wild child.
Happens at times, but I'm sure he'll be back in shortly. Here's Goolsby. He's going to be brought down for a sack. Bart Morton, the sophomore, bringing him down.
Getting in there, making the play. They're able to get that pressure on him, and that Heat line. It's you know, sometimes it goes back and forth. Ryan Scott wants a timeout.
Yep, Ryan Scott's going to get a timeout here.
Offense.
Timeout for the Tennessee Heat. 7:38 left to go in the second quarter. The Webb School leads 30-7. After the timeout, Ryan Scott called. Heat scrambling, toss up the middle, intercepted again by Jordan Jenkins. He's going to weave it through. Can Jordan Jenkins get all the way to the end zone? He will. Pick 6 for Jordan Jenkins and the Webb School.
Pass intercepted by number 23.
Just a crazy throw there from Goolsby, and he's somebody's hurt. Somebody's coming. It might be Goolsby coming off, holding his arm. It's not a good sign. He was hit as he threw, and Jenkins just sitting on the ball again, getting the interception.
And Goolsby is going to be looked at, but again, a pick six there for the sophomore Jordan Jenkins. 2 interceptions in one game.
He's having a little coming out party, and if you're a good team, you need people to contribute all over the place. If you're the Heat, you've got to settle down. You cannot. They're not going to lose their composure, but they cannot get frustrated from this. You want to be frustrated, but you can't be.
Another 2-point conversion attempt. Pitch, Anade trying to push through. Ball comes loose, and the Heat gets it. They're not whistling, and ball loose again. I'm surprised they didn't whistle the play.
Well, I think if you return it, I think you get a point.
That's NFL. They didn't adopt it in high school.
It would be interesting to find out what the rules are for this. If you return an extra point or 2-point conversion attempt.
No, we've seen all across the rest of the season. We'll talk about that instead of going to commercial here since we went so recent. But we've seen that in other games where teams have either intercepted the ball on a 2-point conversion attempt or they've recovered a fumble. They've just blown the play dead. So in high school, it hasn't come out yet. It's in college and in the NFL, it's that if you run it back, you get 2 points.
I would be in favor of it. Anything to make the game more interesting. Anything to make it more interesting. But big play by this Webb defense. And unfortunately, we have to report to y'all that in Jackson, Mississippi, that's the final. My pick is correct, unfortunately. And it's Mississippi School for the Deaf 48, Tennessee School for the Deaf 6. So a loss to the Vikings down in MISSISSIPPI.
Good. Good. Spelling is of the essence.
You can credit my mother for that, as well as my looks and my talents.
And everything else. Justin Goolsby on the return.
Goolsby's got 3.
Goolsby weaving through. He's got some blockers. Shamar Frey will stop him down. Ball at the 36-yard line. Nice return.
So obviously the Heat have not thrown in the towel. It's very obvious. And, they're still trying to make plays. And Goolsby he's like I said, I mentioned earlier, before tonight, nine returns, 165 yards and a touchdown. So obviously he's getting some yardage off returns.
Goolsby setting him
Great
up for
field position.
Yeah, exactly. Really good field position on the 34-yard line in Webb territory. See if the Heat can decrease the deficit on this drive.
I've never heard it said that way. Decrease the deficit. I like that vocabulary.
First down and 10. Motion. Goolsby fakes the handoff, looking for the pass. Almost got the ball swatted there. Tosses it up outside through the arms. Through the arms of Kobe Pinder.
Goolsby doing a good job just waiting. And, I mean, he could have scrambled on that, decided to try to go for the chunk play. And even though it didn't quite work out, you can't fault him for it. I've loved seeing all of the young quarterbacks in the league this year. There were so many quarterback questions coming into the season, and really you've only got 3 senior starting quarterbacks: Tanner Brown and Bowling Green, Nathaniel Rowley at CCS, and Ricky McDowell at Lighthouse. Other than that, Daniel Holcomb's a junior, Crawley, Hubbard, and Goolsby are all sophomores, and then Harris, Jay Krubelski.
There's a handoff for Kobe Pinder weaving through. It's brought down. Gain of about 4 yards on the play. Second down and 6.
I take that back. Gabe Stevens is also a senior. He's been playing quarterback for Swanee. They also have DeAndre Tate playing quarterback. He's a freshman. But like I said, you've got Crawley, Sam Hubbard from Classical, Andrew Crawley from South Haven Christian. Goolsby here tonight. They're all sophomores. And then Jay Krubelski from Riverside. Harris out here tonight. You've got Jake Keel down at Sacred Heart, who y'all saw last night. They're all freshmen. And then obviously you've got the 8th grader from Lancaster, Deuce Bragg, who's having a great year. So many young quarterbacks. I'm going to enjoy seeing the class of quarterbacks come up year after year after year.
It's going to be a really great thing to witness as we're on 3rd down
great for
and
the All-Star
5.
game.
Really, not just for the All-Star game, but for the future of 8-man football. Pitch left side. Instantly met by Shamar Frey. It looks like that was Rowan Cordell.
Great open field tackle, 25 tackles on the year, so he knows how to get to the ball and drop them and make the play.
So Rowan Cordell on that reception, 4th down and about 3. They're trying to get the play call here from Coach Scott. On 4th down, of course, again, 8-man teams inside the 45-yard line. They're going to go for it this close.
I'd be interested in getting like the actual mathematical percentage of how many times that happens. That would be interesting.
We need to have Amazon Web Services sponsor us.
True.
That they'll give us. the Eagles
we
reeled
like
out of
anybody
points.
sponsoring us.
Of course. Anybody to get a sponsor, but if we want those in-depth analytics, Amazon Web Services, like they do for, said it was a 19% chance for that winning touchdown catch for the Eagles back in February. It's Goolsby. Toss on the right side. Intercepted by Shamar Frey. Shamar Frey. Open field. All-star in the making. Shamar Frey. Touchdown for the Webb School.
He was already an all-star, but he's having a crazy year. That's his 3rd interception of the year, and obviously runs that one back for a touchdown. Didn't return it for a touchdown last week against Lancaster, but he's special. And only a junior.
Now, we didn't catch the start of the play there, but the pass, interception, just open field,
just a
had
great
enough
return,
blockers.
and that defense is they immediately switch mind, and obviously an 8-man going both ways helps a whole lot, but just being able to turn that mind frame and go.
So I believe the mercy rule will start being enacted. So first down, rush up the middle, goes 2-point conversion attempt is good for Emmanuel Anade. And 44-7 with 4:57 left to go in the second quarter. The Webb School enacts the mercy rule. See if we get another big return by Justin Goolsby, staying on his feet, and not this time stuffed at the 21.
Big stop by that the Webb coverage team. So making plays.
So I believe the mercy rule either starts on there.
Well, 35 points is 42, so mercy rule should be in effect right now.
We want to remind everybody, hang around for
They don't start it until the second half. That's right.
Well, right here, the Heat can make it where it doesn't start in the second half.
They might be able to.
They could do it. It's possible.
Especially since it's just 2 points. They could get a safety, and it wouldn't be an action.
Exactly.
But what's the likelihood of getting Avante Harris stuck in the end zone?
right now, yeah.
Unless he does intentional grounding. But at this pace, for this phase, this drive right here, nothing.
You got to think the Heat's going to score a touchdown to make it to put themselves in that situation, though.
Here's a pass on the right side, incomplete, intended for Kobe Pinder, 2nd and 10.
If you're Ryan Scott, you know, I'm going to be honest. If you're Ryan Scott, you've got to think about pulling Goolsby right now. And I don't know if you put Sloan in there or whoever takes your second string quarterback reps. There's 2 ways of looking at it, and I see both sides of it. Pull Ryan Scott out, or Ryan Scott pull him out and say, you know what, I'm gonna let you cool off. I'm gonna give you some time. Just calm down, settle down. At the same time, though, if you leave him in the fire, things that get put in the fire, what happens? They get better and better and better. So they get molded into better. So you either leave him in this situation or you pull him out and say, you know what, we're not gonna take a chance on hurting you.
Or keep him in because it's senior night, as a toss on the right side, intended pass for Goolsby, overthrown, incomplete pass.
He's got an arm.
Henry Moore on the coverage. He does have an arm.
Trying to go for his brother. That backyard connection.
Just not accurate on that play there for 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, and it's crazy right now. I mean, like I said, he's got an arm. He's going to be good. He's only going to get better. From the situation like this, it can only get better. And he has not played bad all year. He's only thrown before tonight. He's only thrown 4 interceptions and 7 touchdowns. So, numbers off a little bit tonight. Add a couple interceptions to that.
Here's Goolsby, across the middle, incomplete pass. intended for Preston Sloan.
Was intended for number 3, Preston
So
Sloan.
fourth down and 10 on the 20-yard line.
That'll bring up 4th and 10, Heat.
Yeah, and the Webb School, they're not getting special pressure on him. They're just rushing him just a hair, just a little bit here, a little bit there, make him get the ball out when he's not comfortable, not ready to, and it's throwing the timing off on the routes a little bit.
And this time they do have someone deep back to receive. Joshua Goko, a sophomore.
That's a pretty cool. The thing about Webb's, they always got cool names.
Same for Swanee because it's both of them are boarding schools.
Well, I'm not saying because of that. It's just they always have. I mean, Jake Wright is a cool name. Spoonie Sizemore, Goko. It's a cool name.
Preston Sloan's a cool name. Justin Goolsby is a cool name.
That's a fun name to say.
Just change one letter and it's Coolsby.
It's also built for Halloween, which I despise. But anyways.
Well, I mean, the Halloween is right around the corner, so you're not right. Well, you're not right in despising Halloween, but you're right in the fact of
I hate Halloween.
Right. What do you hate Halloween for?
I'm just not a Halloween fan.
34-yard line. That'll bring up
Seriously?
1st and 10, Webb.
Huh. I mean, I guess it's not for everybody. As takeover on downs here for Webb.
Turnover. Takeover. You're right. Takeover. That's good. That's cool.
It's a takeover. It's a turnover on downs if they force it
tonight.
Yeah.
Recepted. Trying to make it a word.
Yeah, I'm just going with the catch is made or it's caught.
Bam. Received.
Recepted could be a word because there's receptive.
Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try.
I already have. You just called me out for it.
It's just not discovered.
It's not.
Or accepted.
It's not discovered immensely. Here's 1st and 10 for Webb on the 34-yard line. Rush by Anade. Manuel Anade staying on his feet. Stays up to the 14. Emmanuel Anade.
Webb, number 2 with the carry. That's
Another
the first
great
down
run.
for Webb. That'll be 1st and 10
Another great play.
from the Heat. 14.
And Onade coming off the field limping. That could be a negative. I mean, they've still got weapons. They've still got guys. But you hate to lose. You hate to lose Onade for right now. I mean, they're still rolling, and they're at a point in the ball game where it's not going to hurt them. I mean, you're up by however much, but, I say however much. It's 37 points. Wouldn't be hard to do math. Come on, James.
Is homeschool math.
Hi.
Hi.
If I say FCA math, I'm just dissing some teachers. You say homeschooling, you're dissing my mama. So you might want to back up 10 yards to re-putt that ball.
I mean, the homeschool is also a good amount of teaching yourself. So
you're calling a homeschool team playing a game. And you're going to diss homeschoolers. Wow.
Every homeschool is different. This is an amassment of homeschools.
That's true. And there is a difference. There's a difference. I was telling someone before the game. There are homeschoolers, and there's someone who's homeschooled. There's a difference.
Indeed.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, because some of them have their weekly programs.
When you hear homeschooler, when you hear homeschool, you think homeschooler, not homeschooled. These guys out here on the field, most of them are homeschooled, but they're not homeschoolers. They're not playing like homeschoolers. They're not, they're not out there, trying to break down the anatomy of the grass.
Is that something you do? Is that what you're telling me?
No. I mean, you got to have good grass.
Incomplete pass intended
right
for a
in
touchdown. And Shamar Frey knows he missed an opportunity.
Right in his gut, and he dropped it.
3rd and 10 from the Heat 14-yard line.
So incomplete.
I would really be interested to find out what's going on with Sizemore. I know I keep saying it, but
we got contacts. So we just noticed from our booth up here that it looks like Sizemore is actually on the bench. So we're not sure specifically what's going on with him. We'll see if we can get an update at halftime.
I mean, it's not like he can't kick if he breaks his hand. I mean,
that'd be interesting. Imagine
now any kind of leg injury. Oh, sorry, folks.
It's a rush pass complete on the right side intended for and received by Niall Archer.
There you go. Not a boy. No, but for real though.
4th and 6.
Any kind of leg injury, a hamstring, ankle, foot, calf, hip, anything like that could affect kicking, or like an abdomen situation, groin, anything like that, lower body could affect us. So if it's any of those 10, 15 things, yeah, it's going to affect him. But it's not like, if he tweaks his finger, he can't kick.
4th down and 6. Webb in the red zone. Pass up the middle, intended for Shamar Frey, incomplete.
He missed it.
So, turnover on downs.
Almost an interception. I mean, the Heat were right there to try to pick it off. Still 2:49 to go. I mean, you got plenty of time right now.
Plenty of time until the mercy rule is enacted.
Right, and you score, and you make it to where that mercy rule is not going to start in the second half.
So 1st down and 10 for Webb. We'll see if we can do if they can do anything right before the halftime break.
And I'll tell y'all, you're not going to want to miss Extreme Radio tomorrow, 4 p.m. live. Just go to our YouTube channel. We're going to have a breakdown of all 7 games that happened this weekend, starting with a Lancaster win over Swanee.
Here's toss on the right side, completed. Down to the 18-yard line.
Good job by Goolsby. You just got to go with short throws right now. Just completed throws, build up momentum, get it going, get your confidence back up, and then you can start taking shots. But when you've missed, 5, 6 throws and thrown 2 interceptions, you can't just keep throwing long balls.
Carter Sutton with the reception on the last play. And flags thrown, we'll get the call.
Encroachment, defense number 50, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Defense
5 yards.
Encroachment there for Webb.
Move them up a little bit.
So down for a 1st down and 10 for the Heat by default. Just over 2 minutes left in the first half. Right before they have their halftime celebrations for their homecoming seniors. Here's ball snapped, scramble for Goolsby. Loses the football. Webb's going to fall on it. Unless, was it recovered by the Heat?
Yep, Heat got back on it. Let's see who got back on it.
Ball was fumbled.
And
it's number 11.
Timeout, offense.
And timeout for the
That's
Heat.
number 11, Ross Scott.
So timeout for the Heat. We'll look at the replay on the other side of this commercial break. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, brought to you by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way.
That is their last timeout.
Grace, TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Ward Marketing and Advertising. Here's scramble for Goolsby. It's going to be sacked. Ball.
Nope.
Ruled down. Is it a safety?
No. Down at the 2.
Yes, down at the 2-yard line. It looks like it could have been a safety there.
Safety, or the ball could have gone into the end zone and been recovered for another touchdown. Such a lucky, lucky situation there. And trying that screen pass, it didn't work out, and Goolsby had a couple guys in his face. That's the only problem with the screen pass, is when it backfires, boy, it backfires.
On 3rd and 20, it was a rush up there by Kelton Copeland, a freshman getting to the 10-yard line. 4th down, and it's about to be punted away by the Heat.
I've kind of been impressed with Copeland. Copeland's been able to step up.
For the Heat.
Of course, Coach Jeff
Timeout.
Murphy.
Defense.
Coach Jeff Murphy in his first televised or broadcast, not really televised, broadcast.
Live
is-
streamed
Yeah,
broadcast.
his first year of
limited.
being a head coach, first broadcast, so his family also obviously able to watch and check him out. I mentioned this on the show Sunday. Cool situation. First time ever in 8-man football, or at least in Tennessee, that you have two coaches who played Division I football coaching against each other. Ryan Scott played at UT Martin back in the day, and Coach Jeff Murphy played at Middle Tennessee just a few years ago.
Both of them Division
And
I.
they're both from California.
That's even more coincidental on that one.
Fun fact.
From California, it's not the Golden State because that's Florida. Or is it the Golden State?
I don't know. I don't care about California. California can go be its own country. I don't care. I don't claim California.
Oh, you're gonna have that backfire when Murphy and Scott go back and watch this, man.
Nah.
You have his family
They're in
backfire.
Tennessee.
You hear what they just said?
They're in
Well,
Tennessee.
That's true. They made the decision to come to Tennessee and muffs the snap there, loses the ball. It's down at the 5-yard line.
That's a bad situation. Bad situation.
Fumble on the play.
You know,
Recovered by
I would take Texas over California.
Copeland.
That's
Why-
not saying much.
Why is that?
That's not saying much.
There's
Well, the cool thing about Texas is you can get, if you're
a lot more
if you're
8-man
from-
football for
there's
you
a
out
lot
there.
more. There's a lot of 8-man football in Texas. But in Texas, if you're from Tennessee, you can get in-state tuition.
Seriously?
Do
If
you
you're
know
from
why?
Texas? Why is that?
Davy Crockett. Because we went down and helped them in Alamo. They turned around and gave us in-state tuition. I've had several friends go down there
That's
for
right.
school.
That's right.
Just a little fun fact. That's my fun tidbit that no one knows. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know that and you don't.
Nobody understands it, but you now, anybody watching
Really
this
doesn't matter
understands
either.
it. Doesn't matter to you anyway. Here's
Y'all didn't
Emmanuel
know you were-
Nade stuffed in the backfield.
Y'all didn't know you were watching a football game and Jeopardy at the same time. Bam.
My brother really knows a lot of the Jeopardy categories.
I love Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
How we got on Jeopardy, I don't know. It's better than talking about The Rock for president, though. Not better, just a little less random.
I'm telling you, man. You have The Rock running for president, which I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but you have him run for president. Just imagine him coming
I'd
out
be down.
during pep rallies or such. He comes out, you hear, "Can anyone smell what The Rock is cooking?" That'd be the only reason I go to one of those pep rallies. Touchdown, Webb.
I think that was Jenkins.
To number 23.
That was Webb, not 23. 'cause,
Yeah, it was 23.
Jordan Jenkins.
Jenkins got in there.
Let me see if we caught the end of that
Jenkins
touchdown.
having
We
a little
did.
bit of a coming out party.
So right here, catch
Yep.
inside.
Just over the middle. They're getting them from the slot formation. They're just cutting across the middle. Bam, got him. Got him.
The 2-point conversion attempt here. And again, the mercy rule is not enacted until halftime. But we'll see the 2-point conversion attempt here. The Webb School. Faked handoff. Harris trying to get
so
inside.
dangerous with
Spins
his
out.
feet.
Man.
Barely got it.
2-point conversion is good by number 14.
Barley.
We don't do this much on 2-point conversions, but that's a replayable 2-point
Yeah,
conversion
just
attempt.
rolling out and 2-on-1 situation. Made the one-man miss to the outside right here. There you go. Made one-man miss. Bam. Cuts up inside. Dives. Got it.
52-7, 11 seconds left to go on the Heat's homecoming night. The Webb School just leading it early. As James mentioned, we do have Extreme Radio tomorrow presented by Grace Point Healthcare. A lot of stuff to go over from the football action. We'll go over the new selection procedure for the All-Star game.
Yeah, and it's different from the last 2 years. You know, last 2 years, and obviously nothing's wrong with how we've done it the last 2 years where myself and J.D. Young or, you know, me and you and Trent sat down and, you know, picked the teams after talking to coaches, watching a stupid amount of film and looking at stats. But really trying to open it up this season and try something new.
Oh, collided with one of his
man.
own players there. That was
Could have had a great return there.
that was Goolsby colliding with 73 Jonah Britton. Colliding with one of his own guys in there. Could have had a good return.
Well, we're really excited about how this is going to go down, and little teaser. we're going to have voting, but it's not going to be for long. So as soon as we mention that it's going to be on, just hop on it. And we're actually, I don't know, can we track how many times people vote?
Yes.
Okay. Whoever votes every day for every position group, you will be entered to win a free piece of merch, free shirt. You can get our new 8=11 shirt, 8=11. I'm really excited about that. You can get something from the All-Star game, something from our with our logo on it. So a lot of stuff going on, little incentive for you, but you're not going to want to miss the show tomorrow.
End of the first half here in Mount Juliet, 52-7. The Webb School leading over the Tennessee Heat for homecoming. We'll be back in 30 seconds for the halftime report. Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, brought to you by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Ward Marketing and Advertising. Welcome back up here to the halftime report. I'm Spencer Thompson. That's James Shannon, the Hall of Fame bench man from Christian Community, as we always put.
Film guy.
The Hall of Fame film guy. That's
film
right.
guy and in-game coordinator.
Exactly. 52-7 the score at halftime, and obviously we know that the Webb School, they don't want to go with one loss in their season at all. They're here ready to just go completely unbeaten, and they're handing it to Webb here at halftime. What is it that the Heat has not been doing correctly thus far?
Well, I've been saying it all first half. Those first couple drives, they hung in there the first quarter, really, but they didn't have a middle linebacker or someone up the middle to stop it, and they're taking their slot guy and just killing him. They're gashing him up the middle. And so they're just able to get those quick throws off and turn a 5 or 10 yard throw into a big completion or even a score. So if you're the Heat, that's something you got to fix, and that's a problem they've had all year. You've got to get a middle linebacker. You've got defensive ends. You've got cornerback. Everything's fixed, and you've got a lot of seniors, and so you're going to have a lot of positions to reload and fix. But if you're the Heat, that's the one thing you've got to fix. If it's not the quarterback or his throws, we knew that the Heat's line was not great, and they're doing their best, but they don't have a great line. They lost some linemen from last year, and one of them went to Lighthouse, I believe. But they don't have that. They don't have that big line that some teams have, like Webb, and so they're going to struggle with that.
Now, Webb, obviously, Shamar Frey has been the good story, but what's been a really big and interesting person is Jordan Jenkins, the sophomore, making a name for himself already. 2 interceptions on the game, one of those interceptions a pick 6, and a lot of good defensive stops for the sophomore who's got several more years. But Shamar Frey and them have been the story of the game. Just fantastic overall for Webb.
Massive coming out party for Jenkins. And Frey, you know who he is. Everyone knows who he is. It's 6 from Webb. Everyone knows. But if you're, Emmanuel Onade, everyone knows, and I'm interested to find out what's going on with Onade because he limped off the field earlier. But, for them, Frey is doing what you need him to do. He's making plays on kickoffs. He's kicking off for you. He's getting interceptions. So he's doing what they need you to do. What they need him to do, really.
Yep, and halftime festivities going on for the Tennessee Heat as their homecoming ceremonies. We'll be back in about 16 minutes, 52-7. Webb leading over the Heat.
Not with my fake like makeup nose.
Welcome back to coverage of the second half for the Tennessee Heat's homecoming game hosting the Webb School Feet. Spencer Thompson, Isaiah Austin not present here, but present in heart. James Shannon here on color. Proud to bring you this
Isaiah
game
doesn't
here.
care.
You know, we had that whole halftime break, and, you know, silly me forgot to switch it to the third quarter, so shirking one of my responsibilities.
My gosh.
And you know
My
what's
gosh.
no, in between breaks, James is going to look at me and go, "You're killing me. You're
Killing me, Smalls." No, I'm just
kidding. 52-7, Webb leads, and the mercy rule will begin to run after this kickoff, and that's a good return
There's
for
Jenkins.
Jordan Jenkins again. Jordan Jenkins just staying on his feet. If he had not lost his balance there, he could have been gone, I guarantee it.
Yeah, great return. Again, he's just having a coming out party. He's making plays, making things happen, and you know, again, he's another sophomore that they're going to have for a few years.
So I guess with 150, they have not decided. There we go. Cut mercy rule starts to run down, and
they know what they're doing.
yeah, they stopped it at 150 after the kickoff. That's what I was wondering.
Trust me.
Trust
me.
It's not that I don't trust you. It's that I don't. It's that it was.
You don't trust the
questionable
officials.
It's
Wow.
questionable while it was going
There's
on.
some ice, and you're walking on it.
If I didn't trust the officials, Ronnie Perkins would correct that for sure.
Uh-huh.
We got a good announcement about him later on in the season. It's going to be a really good thing later on. But Webb taking their offensive rush here. Flag in the backfield. So Elijah.
A little bit of a hold.
Clock winds down. We'll get the call.
The clock runs and will not stop except for timeouts
We'll
and injuries.
actually discuss him with the side officials. Looks like it's going to be holding on Webb.
Holding, offense number 8. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
So they bring it back extra. Clock continues to run. Now we look ahead to both of these teams' schedules, and obviously we found out the Heat, they're only fighting for the bowl slot, but it's out of their favor on whether or not they get in there or not. But we look at the remainder of the Tennessee Heat schedule. They travel to Riverside next week. They host Swanee, and then they host the Tennessee School for the Deaf, which you leaked out. That Thursday night game we'll be broadcasting. You leaked that out even before we started the season.
You got to start the hype early.
Right, we started that hype early. We'll be calling that game Thursday night in the final week of the regular season. So they've got a decent schedule ahead of them, but again, they have no more North games, and their only hope is for the bowl slot.
Yeah, and you know, they had their division games kind of early in the year. Now they're going to be playing a couple South teams and Tennessee School for the Deaf. Riverside, that's going to be a really, really good ball game, and the potential is there for that to be the bowl game matchup as well. So that would be really, really interesting. You know, to get 2 editions of that game within 3 weeks. Swanee, we'll have to see what happens with Heat Swanee. That should be a winnable game as well. And I've got Tennessee Heat picked up for Tennessee School for the Deaf, but that would be a really, really cool game, and that's going to be a great one to call.
Now, again, FCA on Friday, they were eliminated from playoff contention. You had something on Elijah Fouch here, James.
Yeah, getting snaps now here in the second half.
Yeah, Elijah Fouch pass across to Corbin Whitney, the 9th grader, across the middle to the 40-yard line. But with FCA's loss to Riverside on Friday, I believe that locked Riverside's bowl slot, actually.
Barring an FCA upset of Webb. Because if that happens, then barring an FCA upset of Webb and a Swanee upset of Webb, yes, everything should stay the way that it is. But Webb takes 2 losses. Lighthouse and Lighthouse doesn't lose. Lighthouse moves into the 1 seed, and then it moves up from there.
Well, Lighthouse,
if you want a great breakdown of the playoff situation,
don't listen to Extreme Radio because you got it wrong.
Listen to Extreme Talk.
Don't listen to Extreme Talk.
No. You already said Extreme Radio, so don't listen to Extreme Radio.
Don't listen to both. Don't listen to both.
Don't go to our YouTube channel.
Just don't. You're already here. Just don't go to it. Don't go to the actual channel page.
Don't leave.
You can stay here. Yeah,
just
don't
stay here.
leave.
Listen to Extreme Talk on Thursday nights, Extreme Radio on Sunday afternoons. That one's live.
Yep. You're gonna have to re-break down. You're gonna have to re-break down it because Thursday,
nope,
I think
I broke down all the scenarios. You can go back and listen to it, and you can say, okay, this one.
But you were saying the Heat still had a chance at the playoffs, and we were corrected. They don't at this point. So I think you talked about that in Extreme Talk.
They
on
do.
Thursday. They don't have
if
playoff hopes
South Haven and CCS beat Lighthouse, then it'll be a three-way tie.
No, Coach Scott was talking to us. Even
Well-
on the
well,
three-way
actually-
tie, it's the South game scenarios of the rivals for the
Right,
extra
and it all
tiebreaker.
depends on who the rival is.
Yeah, so at least as of now, the Heat rested on they're eliminated from playoff contention as catch incomplete.
Ooh, almost intercepted by Sloan there.
10 for Corbin Whitney. Now we
That would have
look-
been his third interception of the year, by the way.
could have been that, so it's turnover. So we look at the schedule for the Webb School. They've got 2 games ahead of them. Now, they've got FCA next week, and they're hosting them down in Bell Buckle. We're not counting FCA out on that because even though they are eliminated from playoff contention, they still have every bit of chance to pull that upset and mess things up for the playoffs and put
Yeah,
Sa-
you don't
Swanee in
count anybody
position.
out at all.
Especially with the strengths of John Buchanan there in that.
Obviously, we learned
squad.
that last week with Heat South Haven. I wrote South Haven off, and the Heat squeaked out of Cheatham County with the win.
Yeah, so the Heat managed to squeak out of there.
Good run by Copeland there.
Kelton Copeland getting the rush. But again, strategic for Webb. They have a bye week before they host St. Andrews Swanee next week. Or excuse me, not next week, the final week of the regular season. So they have that strategic bye week there. And especially for that game, it'll come right down to the last week for playoff seeding
Is
potentially.
it strategic, or is it going to hurt them to be off the week before because their guys – they're going to get cold. And that's what I don't like about if you're going to take a week off, take the first week of October or this week off. But don't, it's an interesting situation to take off the second week of October.
Take that strategy there. It may have an issue with them, but if they win against FCA, they've locked the number one seed in the South officially.
And I, like I said last week, whenever they played, whoever won that game was going to go to the championship. Not necessarily win it, maybe, but they're going to go to the championship. And you don't count anybody out, but I would say FCA has maybe 10% chance, maybe 15 of winning. I mean, I'm not going to give them 0, but I'm not going to give them 25%.
Especially against the dominance we've seen tonight from
exactly.
them. Oh, that's the first time I've used dominance tonight. That's good.
It's very good. I mean, as many times as you've used dominance in the first 5 broadcasts, and it's gone way down.
Yeah.
So good job. But no, I mean, even if you're FCA, even with John Buchanan, who is arguably one of the top backs in the league, maybe top 3, top 4, somewhere in there. It's still hard to beat a team that's so deep and so skilled as Webb. I'm not going to say experience. They have guys with experience, but they got a lot of first-year guys. So it's not so much experience as it is they've got guys who've been able to step up. Sorry about that quick zoom there.
So motion on the play. Can't see the down indicator from here. It's pretty blocked. I'm surprised they put it on the home field side. First down. Rush here. It's down. It's Kobe Pinder on the rush.
Yeah, it was first down. It's second, and I don't think they picked up the first down. I think they're just a little shy.
Yeah, Webb recovered the fumble.
Wow.
There was a fumble there, and Webb recovered it.
Wow.
So the clock continues
That's a killer.
Yeah, killer for them as Webb gets the ball, and the clock continuing to run down here in the second half with the mercy
Nice
rule.
long halftime with it being a Heat homecoming game.
Yep, and they're just letting it run down there. So again, we look at the playoff scenarios. We're going to talk about it a whole bunch in depth on Sunday. Just a whole bunch of stuff to go over.
Your days running together.
Sunday to tomorrow, same thing. It's just that most people would say tomorrow. In this case, I said Sunday because that's what came to my head. But if the playoffs were to end today, well, first off, what were you going to say?
Something goofy.
That's the point of our broadcast.
Carry there.
We don't take it seriously, but
Fouch, they ran a little bit of a wildcat formation that last drive, having Elijah Fouch taking the snaps. He's the senior, but now they've got their other freshman quarterback, Weston Coop, and he's getting some reps now, and so it's good. It's interesting though to have 2 freshman quarterbacks. And not have a junior and a freshman or something where, you can let one guy play for 2, to have 2 guys come up at the same time, if they stay at the school for all 4 years, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, or if they move one guy to receiver. It's never bad, though, to have 2 experienced, solid quarterbacks.
The Webb on 2nd down and 7. Just a rush.
Big stop there. Sloan getting in there.
Yeah, Weston Coop getting the rush at Sloan with the stop tackle. So we'll talk about it a lot tomorrow or Sunday, whatever you pronounce it, about the playoff scenarios. But we're looking at if the season were to end today, Webb number 1, Lancaster number 2, and Riverside number 3 in the south. In the north, you're looking at CCS number 1. I think you said Lighthouse number 2.
Lighthouse would be
and
number 2.
Number 3 would be, you say Sacred Heart?
Well,
Or was it Bowling Green?
I keep notes, so let me pull it up. It would be the Heat.
Yeah, he would
The
be
Heat
in the
are
bowl
sitting
slot.
at 3 and 2. Bowling Green or Sacred Heart is 2 and 2. Bowling Green is 1 and 3.
Yeah, so technically it would be a bowl slot for the Tennessee Heat.
And again, like I said, it would be Riverside Heat in the bowl game, and they're also playing next week. The thing that would be the interesting thing to me is we need to find out who Riverside's rivalry game is, because both teams are 3 and 2 in the division. Now, overall, I don't think matters. I think Heat plays one more game, so they're both 3 and 2 their division. And obviously, well, it would come down to who won next week's game as to who would have home
for
field
head-to-head.
advantage.
Yeah, for head-to-head.
Or
on
who would they play the bowl game at? Because the bowl game's played at the team's field.
Might be at Riverside's or might be here in Mount Juliet.
Well, that's how it was last year. Swanee hosted the bowl game because they were in it against Lighthouse. 2 years ago, Webb hosted it, Webb hosted the bowl game, and it was Christian Community in Riverside. So Riverside's been to 4 or 5 bowl games, so they could be going to their 6th. And the Heat, they haven't been in any kind of they've been to like the old Division II bowl game postseason, but they haven't been in any actual postseason in quite a while, actually. So to come from 2 years ago where you didn't have a program, and then now you're going to at least the bowl game to give you guys another game, that's great. It would be even better if there was a 16 playoff, but
Yeah, that's another scenario for another day, and what we talked about all through the preseason talks we had on Extreme Radio.
Making the Extreme Player of the Week miss there.
Yeah, he's got him out of bounds there, and third down and 8. So the scenarios continue to crush down for the playoffs, and we're excited for the postseason right around the corner. We're heading into week 9 of 11 next week, and my goodness, it feels like the season just started yesterday.
I was telling my wife today, I was like, it seems like September has drug by, but it also seems like it's flown by. I mean, it's like yesterday we were getting ready for the first game of the season, and now we're already 3 weeks away from the playoffs. It's crazy.
The postseason. So end of the third quarter. End of the third quarter, 52-7. The Heat and Webb wrapping it up. Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week brought to you by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Ward Marketing and Advertising. Coach Jeff Murphy, in his first year for the Webb School, had a firecracker start with a
right there behind the official.
With looking to be about a 5-0 record on the season. Get the call first.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
So an encroachment on the Heat. So 5-0. In his first season as head coach, he was with the Webb School organization previously. So he's at least been able to build, I believe it was offensive coordinator last year from what we were talking about with him pregame. But leading 5-0. Technically a loss to Middle Tennessee Christian School in 11-man. We count
we're
that
not
as
counting
it as an exhibition game. But in 8-man, they've stayed undefeated thus far and looking to keep that going in their 2 remaining games.
Great setup for him, and you know, we love Coach Feldberg. He did a great job for the years he was there, and we wish him the best on his endeavors. Coach Murphy, he's done a great job. He's got a great staff of coaches around him. I believe some of them he even played with. So he's got a great setup. He's always got Coach David Forrest there to help him out whenever he's got, you know, just to help with little things that old veteran coaches can help with. And he's doing a great job. He's got a very talented team. And so it'll be exciting to see what comes up. Of course, like we mentioned earlier, played at Middle Tennessee State as a quarterback for 3 years. I think it was 2010 to 12. Came out of California. So
Webb just punting it away here. About the 49-yard line, Webb will give the Tennessee Heat advantage on the 46-yard line in Webb's territory. So we'll see them switch over on offense and go through to quick commercial break.
That'll bring up 1st and 10 for the Heat.
Here's Coach Ryan Scott. Overall 6-10. Go to 6-11 after tonight's loss. He's in his 2nd season with the Tennessee Heat. Managed to lead them at least to get their first win against the Madisonville Defenders last season. Ball loose, ruled down by contact. Down to 2nd down and 6.
And he was going to be the head coach 2 years ago, and then they ended up co-oping with Hendersonville Christian, so he was an assistant under Daniel Meek. And last year they decided that, you know, they were going to go forward. They had got plenty of guys, and they were able to build up a little bit of a group to come back and try to have a team. And so he decided to take over the head coaching reins. He's also a baseball coach. Decided not to coach this year. He's a big baseball player. But like I said, he played D1 football as well, wide receiver at UT Martin, came out of California. A little bit older than Coach Murphy, but he's done great things for this organization. Very heavily involved. I know his sons play football and other sports. His wife heads up the cheerleaders, so a very involved family with this organization, and they're very thankful for him.
Yeah.
And he was also a coach in our All-Star game last year, losing coach.
Yeah,
for Team Jones.
So coach for Team Jones tried to lead him against Coach Daniel Meek and Trent Legate, or Team Legate, the 2017 All-Star game. We'll reveal who the coaches are for the 2018 All-Star game, not tomorrow. We'll reveal them later on at some point, because still, of course, trying to confirm some things.
We're going to wait a little bit with the coaches, but I think either next Sunday or the Sunday after, we will have the team names locked in. Waiting to hear back from some All-Star Game alumni, or alumnus, or however you say it.
It's alumni. Alumnus is singular.
Okay, so alumni. Where does alum come in? Is alum like a massive group?
No, alumnus is singular.
So what's alum?
Graduate. Alum of coal. Alum, sum of money.
Anyway, so we're set. We're finalizing team names. Of course, last year had Team Jones, Team Legate. So we'll get a couple All-Star Game alumni to be the honorary captains.
Yeah, we'll do that once again as we did last year with Legate and Jones. And rush up the middle. 7 minutes exactly left in the 4th.
A huge win by the Heat here. I mean, they just continue their role, and it's going to be tough. I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, if they match up with Lighthouse Christian, I'd be interested.
Offense, that's their first of the half.
I'd be interested to see what happens with that. You know, I would be interested to see, really, I want to see CCS Webb. I wish they played during the regular season, but I'm kind of glad they don't. First matchup between these two, between CCS and Webb since 2013. They haven't played each other since 2013, so a long time coming. Them and Swanee are two teams that CCS really hasn't played Swanee, they played them at 11-12. So I'm looking forward to this CCS Webb potential postseason matchup that we could have. I think that would be probably the best one. Lancaster would be intriguing too.
Yeah, if Lancaster can pull off the upset, again, assuming the season ends today because nothing is officially finalized. But
it doesn't.
If Lancaster goes against Webb in the championship, or even goes against the number 2 seed in the North, if it's potentially Lighthouse, that would be a really interesting championship.
We know what happens with Lancaster and Lighthouse. We've seen that before.
We have seen that before, but there's time to improve over the season because they played back in week 6, and that gives them technically 6 weeks of preparing, getting better, potentially healthier.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So that might be a potential championship matchup as the catch is incomplete. Clock continues to run down.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I know I've mentioned it before, but I'm really excited about the setup we're going to have for the All-Star selections.
Oh yes.
We're really excited to get you fans involved in this, and it's something we wanted to do. We've been working on it really all season since probably August, just trying to get it settled. So yeah, I'm excited about it. We're gonna have a great All-Star game this year. We have a great All-Star game every year.
Yeah, we have a great All-Star game every year for sure, and it's what
a run!
That's a replay. That's a replay moment. Oh my goodness!
Oh, he scored.
After a bunch of action not happening in the third quarter, that is a replayable action right there. Just look, the ball popped out last second. So it goes right here. Ball pops out last second.
Look at that, just bending, keeping his feet moving. That's the biggest thing. He kept his legs moving, kept his feet moving. So as he's carrying guys into the end zone, he's still moving forward without getting a big push from the line.
Okay, so it wasn't the ball. I think it was a cleat or something that popped out there. Yeah, it looked from here like it was the football that popped out, but I think it was maybe a cleat or a mouthpiece or some form of equipment that popped out there.
They're going to go for 2 here.
Go for a 2-point conversion.
Oh, come on. Nope, they're going for the extra point.
Yep, they're going to.
My bad.
Well,
they're going to give Micah.
They could do a fake.
That's true. Point. I think they let Micah just go ahead and knock in the extra point.
They could.
Reigning Extreme Player of the Week. See if he can make another one. Nope. Straight into the line. He was only like 2 of 5 last week. So it just depends on when you catch him. Sometimes he'll have a great kick, and sometimes it'll look like, oh my gosh, what was that all about?
52-13 the score. We'll step aside for a commercial break. Kickoff here. James is heading down to get ready for the post game. Get the camera up and running. Goes to the other side of the field here. That's picked up by Webb's 23, Jordan Jenkins again. Jordan Jenkins. The pickup. Sorry about that extreme zoom there. And tackle down, 3:28 left to go as the clock continues to run. So the Heat got another touchdown in the latter of the second half, 52-13. Still a 39-point advantage. 39-point advantage for the Webb School. And again, there are a lot of scenarios that we're looking at now. Again, James is not in the booth, but there are a lot of scenarios for the playoffs and where they're being hosted and such. We still have not gotten official word from the conference on where the championship is to be hosted. We do have words on the street from 3 people, two of them on the board. We have received word, but no official confirmation yet. We're hoping we can have that confirmed this weekend or potentially by next weekend, because we are 5 weeks out from the MTAC championship. No confirmation yet on where it's going to be hosted. So hoping for word soon on that. That, and as well as trying to see what the playoff schedule is going to be. Hopefully we will be able to bring you all of them on our YouTube channel. Do the same as we did last year. Hoping it's not a situation where we have to run a 2-man crew. One of them with just an iPhone and microphone. Hoping it'll be a better situation. Here's a rush on the right side. Stopped at the 30-yard line. We are trying to work it out so that we can broadcast both semis with all of our updated equipment. As of now, looking like the seating-wise, the host schools are looking like they are willing to work around that. Potentially do both playoff games at 2 and 7 p.m. on the last Saturday in October. It's looking like a potential for that. Just not 100% confirmed, since the other schools have to confirm it, as well as the conference does have to confirm the scheduling. Hopefully they will be able to work with us so that we can bring more exposure to the conference in their postseason games. Rush up the middle, 70 seconds left on the game clock as it continues to wind down. There's a second down. Final seconds expiring here. The Heat will take another loss on their season. Webb will remain undefeated in the regular season. 2 more games for them. And just an amazing, just a same high-level turnaround for the Webb schools. Last year ending up in 4th place, making it to the playoffs, lost to South Haven, and then victory, a loss over Franklin Christian Academy in the 3rd place game. So big turnaround for them to be poised for #1 seed in the North again, and potentially poised to go to the MTAC championship for the first time in several years. It's handed off right side. Stopped at the 29-yard line. And the final seconds wind down. That's it. 52-13, the final score. The Webb School Feet remain undefeated in their regular season. The Tennessee Heat take their loss here at homecoming. We'll see you on Instagram Live for the post-game report. Thank you for watching the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, presented by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider, Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way, TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, Estate and Financial Strategies Incorporated, and Ward Marketing and Advertising. We'll see you for the post game, everybody.